Hi guys, and welcome back to the all new and improved crawl wall. The quality indeed, not the quality of the videos because it's still done by me. And as you can see, things are vastly improved in here now. I've got a microphone so you can hear me. Hello, hello. Wonderful stuff. Anyway, as always guys, we're going to kick things off with the race winner, and it's in the difficult position now. If I don't know where to stand, I think I'm going to stand over here so I'm not in way of the scores from previous results. But we've got the halfway points anyway, so we're all good. Anyway, so to kick things off, of course, race winner Sebastian Vettel, and after qualifying second, finished P1. And he made that race look fairly easy, didn't he? He got the run on the Kemmel Straight and made that move stick, so did a good job for that. Then the safety car came out after all the chaos ensued, but we'll get there with that. And then from there, pretty much led the race and dominated. Hamilton looked to have half a chance after the pit stop. He certainly gained time, tried to do the undercut, didn't quite work. And that was it. Vettel and Ferrari really pulled away. They've made some massive gains over the summer break. Yeah, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with at Monza as well, aren't they? So, Sebastian Vettel, short and simple, it was a really good weekend. Didn't get pole though, mainly due to Ferrari, I would say, on that one, because they pushed on the second lap as opposed to the third lap, because they thought the circuit was going to get wetter, and it actually got drier. So that's why there was a gap there in qualifying. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure Vettel would have got pole. But nonetheless, a good weekend by Sebastian Vettel, and for that reason, it's going to be 9 points. 9 points for Vettel. Not a perfect 10 because she didn't get pole. Next up, Lewis Hamilton. Did an alright race, didn't he, really? He qualified first, 7/10 ahead of Vettel. Like I said, I don't think that was a true representation, but not to worry. He had a good race anyway. He really wasn't in the game for the win. He, like I say, he had half a chance, but didn't make it stick. He couldn't really do anything about it. P2 in the end, still respectable, still more than enough points ahead in the championship at the moment, you know. But Vettel has cut that gap by 7 points, so not too bad. But yeah, he'd love a bit of a bigger cushion, but he hasn't got it just yet. Lewis Hamilton, though, after the race said, "Oh, well done, Sebastian." They're like, "Oh God, isn't he a great sport?" for congratulating him. And then accused Ferrari of cheating pretty much by saying, "They've got some tricky stuff on there. It's just a bit of a tricky situation." And you're like, "Oh. Really? So because you're slower than a car now, it's cheating?" I'm sorry, that's what I judge from the situation anyway. I thought it was a bit of a sore loser, to be honest. He lost. Get over yourself, do you know what I mean? So, for that reason, I was going to give him 8 points for the race, but then because he decided to do that, he then decided to really let me down in that situation, because I thought, oh, not had any moaning over the radio, that makes a change. Nonetheless, it's going to be 5 points. I'm going to score him 5 points for Lewis Hamilton because I think he's going to get 3 points knocked off for that stupid comment like he's a child. Honest to God. And all you Hamilton fans saying, no, he's just determined. I don't care anymore. I honestly don't care. It's the cruel wall. I do what I like. And that was bang out of order in my eyes. Next up, Max Verstappen, P3 after qualifying P7, so great result by him. Avoided the first lap carnage, unlike his teammate, unfortunately, and drove solid enough. He swept past the Force Indias and stayed third, a lonely, boring race for him. But in front of his own crowd and in front of the Belgians as well, born 60 mile away from the circuit, and obviously it's the closest Dutch circuit we're ever going to get at the Formula 1 calendar at the moment. So yeah, for Max Verstappen, absolutely amazing race. And look, everyone's been saying, oh, why haven't you given him 10 yet? He's getting 10 now. That was a brilliant race by him. He drove it controlled, it was measured. Asking about rain as well, rather cheekily, seeing if there's any hope of that to try and make his positions up, maybe with a cool strategy, but there was no chance, unfortunately. Rained in England all day, but didn't rain at Spa. Makes a change, that. So yeah, good race by Verstappen, a perfect 10 for me in my eyes. Drove a smart race, drove clever, was lucky in turn 1 admittedly, but drove a smart race and it was good to see. Not a match for the two faster teams though this weekend, which was a bit of a shame, but you know, I'm sure Red Bull will get there eventually. Next up was Valtteri Bottas, after starting last, finished P4, so yeah, a good race by him. Initially it didn't look like he gained many places, I think he was only up to 16th, and at the back obviously he had a bump into the back of Sorokin or Stroll, whichever one of the Williams it was, had a little nuzzle into them and had to pit for a front wing, so was at the back, and then only really benefited from everyone else's retirements, and then carved his way through in the latter half and eventually got the two Force Indias in the later stages. 4 laps to go before he finally got past Perez. Perez put up a brilliant effort in that Force India team, Racing Point, Daddy Racing, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, Valtteri Bottas, a great job by him this weekend. Didn't seem to have it as easy as Hamilton getting let through on traffic. Triggered. Yeah, so Valtteri Bottas, drove a smart race and had to make a fight for it. So fair play to him. Of course he breezed past him anyway in the Mercedes, but they weren't making it too easy for him. So for that reason, I'm going to score him 8 points. And the only reason why I give him 8 points is because he had the bump with Sorokin and Stroll, and or whichever one it was, and he also had a couple of offs in the qualifying. So not a perfect 10 by any means, but a good recovery drive. Yeah, it was an impressive ending to a disappointing weekend, shall we say. Next up were the two Force India boys, Daddy Racing, Racing Point, What's the Point, Pointless Fast Canada, whatever you want to call them. They're here now, they're back on the grid, and yeah, good to see them on the grid after it was looking uncertain. And yeah, what can we say? Perez qualified P4, finished P5. Solid effort this weekend. A great result for them. The boost that the team needed especially, including Daddy Stroll, who obviously is going to be sticking Lance in that seat now at the expense of Esteban Ocon, because it doesn't matter about talent in Formula 1 anymore. It matters about buying a Formula 1 team for your son. So great result by Sergio Perez. I'm going to score him 9 points. Just the boost that he needed. Esteban Ocon, a great result, qualified P3 but finished behind his teammate and finished P6, so he lost a couple of places, which was a bit of a shame really, but you know, he was never going to hold off Bottas, he was never going to hold off Verstappen. It was just a shame his teammate got him, but it was some smart driving because it was really close at the exit after the Kemmel Straight and he'd backed out of it wisely. I think it'd have been a little bit further ahead, he'd have gone for it, but he wasn't, backed out of it, lost out to Perez. I'm not going to hold that against him, but Perez looked to have the better pace as well in the race, but a great result for Force India nonetheless. So for that reason, it's going to be a brilliant 7 points. He can have 7 points for that one. I'm pleased with him, but, you know, got to get over yourself, haven't you? I really want to see where it goes with Ocon because he deserves to stay in Formula 1 100%. Next up was Romain Groshan. After qualifying P5 with that Haas car, finally delivering some solid results now, which is great to see. At last, hallelujah, praise the Lord, and finishing P7. And again, he only really lost out to Bottas and Verstappen. So apart from that, he stayed where he qualified. It was never a match for those guys, and we know that. So for that reason, plain and simple, Grosjean is going to get a solid 8 points. Good result by Romain Grosjean there. Really chuffed with him. I'm pleased that he's getting results. I really am, because I like him, and I'm glad he's doing well. Next up was his teammate K-Mag. His teammate of Grosjean had the measure of him all weekend, out-qualified him and out-raced him. So, yeah, in that respect, didn't do as well. But to bring home a P7 and P8 for that team is a great result. And another double points finish for Haas takes him within 6 points of Renault now, I believe, who had a dismal weekend. So, great result for them. They'll be really liking that. And for that reason, K-Mag is going to get 8 points as well. I think, yeah, okay, he finished behind his teammate, but you can't finish side by side, can you? And this weekend, they really were comparable. You know, they were really close. Qualifying was close, you know, so was the race. So fair play to K-Mag. 8 points each. Next up came Pierre Gasly, a couple of points for Toro Rosso. Wasn't expected at the start of the weekend, got to be honest, with that Honda engine. But of course benefited from the first lap chaos, which took out a few of their cars that were ahead of them. And yeah, he drove a really smart race this weekend, Gasly. Really smart. Did a good job. I can't really fault him, to be honest. 2 points in a Toro Rosso on a circuit that's got a long straight. Even with the retirements, I'd have still put him down where Hartley finished. So yeah, Gasly was a surprise, and he's obviously had a boost of confidence now after getting that Red Bull seat, which he thoroughly deserves, he really does. So that reason, Pierre Gasly will be getting 8 points. It's not really cruel, is it? But I'm not trying to be scoring too much, you know what I mean? I'm trying to keep it fairly even, but I think, yeah, 8 points for him is a solid result. Worst one's Hamilton at the minute for whinging. He needs to learn. He really needs to learn now. And grabbing the final point was Marcus Ericsson, P10. Now, he got a point. I'm really chuffed for him. Really chuffed for Sauber. But I think he could have done better. And that trouble that he had after he had the second pit stop and then got bottled up behind Hartley, it shouldn't have been like that. It was on fresh rubber in comparison to Hartley, and Hartley was able to hold it off for 2 laps. So that was a bit of a disappointment, and the pace really wasn't there. But he picked up a point, which was good. But yeah, just because it was a point doesn't mean it was a good race by him. I think he should have been ahead of that Toro Rosso, and he ended up like 12 seconds behind it. So for that reason, Marcus Ericsson, I'm going to score him 6 points. It's solid enough, but it's not brilliant. Do you know what I mean? It was okay. Next up is Carlos Sainz, missing out on the points. He started at the back, he got knocked out in Q1, which was a bit silly by Renault to put Hulkenberg out there, even though he was going to start at the back. Got knocked out in Q1, they elected to change a load of components just to make sure that, obviously, we're going to start at the back anyway, so you may as well start more back and, yeah, take the hit. And 11th really was all he could do. Finished about 13 seconds behind. In fact, he got lapped, so I can't see how far behind he was of Ericsson. But yeah, it was about 13 seconds, I think, in the end. And was a big gap to us, 2 slower cars ahead, so not a brilliant effort by Sainz. Yeah, okay, he came from 18th on the grid or whatever it was in the end, but not really a stunning effort by him. Renault had a poor weekend this weekend, and as I said, Haas have closed in as a result of that. So for that reason, Carlos Sainz, you've not really impressed me. I'm pleased you're in Formula 1 for a multi-year deal with McLaren next year, but apart from that, this weekend was poor, 4 points. Then we get to Sergei Sorokin and Lance Stroll. Sergei Sorokin had the measure of his teammate, head in qualifying, ahead in the race, and his teammate's more experienced and will be going to Force Canada, Fast Canada, Racing Point, not the point, whatever there's a point, I've no idea, in the next couple of races. So Sorokin will be looking to get a new teammate. Will it be Ocon? Who knows? I'm convinced this is going to happen, by the way. I really am now. So Sergei Sorokin did a good job. Not too bad. He's with Williams. Don't really care about him. But Sergei Sorokin had a good race this race. Unfortunate to miss out on points because he's running around in about 9th for a little while, but the car's just not quick enough. So for that reason, I'm actually going to score him genuinely. I'm going to give him 6 points. Good race-ish. Next up is his teammate, Lance Stroll, and yeah, I'm not really bothered about him. Don't give it about him. He's going to end up at Force Canada, Fast Canada, Racing Point. What's the point? Whatever. And yeah, he's going to take Ocon's seat. Ocon deserves to be there. But there you go. That happens in life, doesn't it? Because money buys everything. So minus 83 million points for you, Lance Stroll. I'm finished with you, pal. You're not entertaining me at all. You've annoyed me. Then we get to Brendan Hartley, and yeah, I mean, really outshone by Gasly this weekend once again. What can I say? Okay, did an okay race, but nothing special, nothing spectacular, out-qualified, out-raced. I expected Toro Rosso to be around here, but what Gasly's doing with the car is just phenomenal. So, a great race by him, but not a great race by Hartley. If Gasly can do it, so can your teammate. That's how I look at things, I'm afraid. He avoided the first lap carnage as well. So for that reason, I'm going to score him just 3 points. That's all you're getting, I'm afraid. 3 points, Brendan. Then we come to Stoffel Vandoorne, another one, an uncertain future ahead for him. Don't know what's going to happen. And he didn't really deliver. I know the car was crap this weekend though. They were both out in Q1. It doesn't really matter. He had some problems in FP1 as well. So yeah, Vandoorne, I'm going to score you 4 points. Yeah, I'm really not bothered about these two now. They're always further down the field. I like Hartley and I like Vandoorne, but I just want to see something more when your teammates are delivering all the time. You know, you deserve to deliver, and sometimes you give them the car to deliver and you don't do it. So there you go. Then we come to the retirements now. The last of the retirements in the race, the first on this list, is Daniel Ricciardo. And what can we say? The only one really to keep going after the accident. And yeah, not a lot we can say really. I'm just going to have to score him a middle of the road 5 because we don't know what his race was capable of. He ballsed it up in qualifying, but so did his teammate, so did the team. And yeah, it was just a wrong place, wrong time. Not his fault at all. Doesn't deserve to be blamed for it, but I can't really score him anything more than 5 because, yeah, what can I do? What can I do? Then we come to Kimi Raikkonen. Again, he had a rear puncture as a result of getting hit by Ricardo, who got hit by Alonso, who got hit by Hulkenberg. And yeah, an unfortunate way for Kimi to end his race as well. Again, Ferrari's strategy ballsed him up there. He should have been out on that track while it was getting drier, but Ferrari thought it was getting wetter and decided not to go out again. And that's what cost him the race and any chance of scoring any points. He was out by turn 1. He kept going for a little bit with the rear puncture, but obviously it damaged the floor, and you may as well save engines at that point anyway. So for that reason, Kimi Raikkonen, again, middle of the road 5. I can't do any other because I don't know what he was going to do in the race. Qualifying was poor, so I can't even judge him on that. Then we get to Charles Leclerc, lucky to be alive, lucky to be here. Thank God for the halo is all I'm going to say, because I wouldn't have been able to afford that. I mean, I'd have been devastated. I mean, everyone was devastated with Bianchi, and then if it had been a relation and a friend to Bianchi that went as well. Honest to God, the things that were going through in my head, and I just thought, you know what, it's going to be okay because of the halo, and I was actually really chuffed with it. They showed you the result of the halo, and it had cracked, it had got tyre marks on it, so that would have been his head. Yeah, thank goodness for the halo is all I'm going to say is, and although we criticised it for being not aesthetically pleasing and it looks horrible and it's not what the drivers want, it's already saved a life in F2 potentially with Fukuzumi, who ended up with a car on top of him, and it's potentially saved Leclerc's life here today as well. So fair play, I'm not arguing with that. Brilliant result but for the halo, but not a great result by Leclerc. Qualified 12th, finished DNF'd. Again, just a middle of the road 5 points because I can't do any other. This is the trouble. It's just a middle of the road 5. Fernando Alonso, it's the same again. What more can I do? His qualifying was crap. His car is crap. Would he have scored points? No. Did he deserve to have a chance in the race? Of course he did. Along with all the other 4 drivers, he deserved a chance. So for that reason, Alonso again, 5 points. I know people are going to be criticising me and shouting at me in the comments, but what more can I do? What more can I do? And then we come to Hulkenberg, the causer of the accident. The incident was so small that had massive effects, let's say it like that. If there were no one else in front of him and he missed the corner and everything would have got on okay, but it's the start of the race and it was a disaster really. So I can't do any other but score you 0, I'm afraid, Hulkenberg. That was a really, really poor effort, and it had massive consequences for a lot of the guys in the race. He's just been penalised with 10 place grid drop for the next race as well, so fortunate not to get a ban because obviously Groshan got one. But yeah, rare error by Hulkenberg, but massive, massive implications, not just for him, but for the rest of the grid pretty much. A car in every team. Yeah, you know what I mean? It was a silly accident. So there we go, that is that. But now you're going to see the all-new improved Jolyon Palmer. When I mean all-new improved, I mean exactly the same, but it's going to be in high def, so you're going to be able to see how flat his face really is. Looking forward to it, aren't you? Let me just go get him. Jolyon! It's that time, Jolyon. He's here any minute now, guys. Here he is. It's Palmer of the week. Jesus Christ, you've got small. Well, I genuinely don't know what that was, but Jolyon Palmer over the summer break seems to have lost about 4 foot. But there you go, he is awarded Hulkenberg Palmer of the week, and can you blame him really? I certainly can't. Jolyon certainly can't. That was in true Jolyon style. Although Jolyon normally just likes to take himself out, but this time he decided he was going to take others out as well. So there you go. So that was the all-new improved cruel wall. Let me know your thoughts and feedback down below. Any too high? Any too low? Did I bottle job it? Just whatever. Just tell me whatever. And yeah, I look forward to reading your comments and replying to as many as I can as always. So be sure to like, comment and subscribe if you're new. And we'll see you for more. Much love.